It's the story everyone is talking about. The nation and Metro Detroit continuing to react to President Joe Biden's decision to withdraw his re-election campaign and what comes next. Many Democrats, including Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, now getting behind Vice President Kamala Harris as the new Democrat candidate for president. We begin this half hour with what the next few weeks will look like. We have with us seasoned political consultant Mario Morrow. Thanks for joining us. And this could be an unprecedented time moving forward, potentially chaotic process as well. Harris is favored to be the nominee, but still things have to play out. There's a process.
Right. There's a convention coming up August 19th, but this is unprecedented times. We've seen a president who was dug in and said he wasn't going anywhere, all of a sudden said, hey, I'm out. And I think primarily because his strong supporters were backing off of him, and the funders were backing out fast.
Do you think we could see any challengers to the vice president legitimately who could be at the top of that ticket?
At this point, Simon, I don't think so. The way all the delegation and all the elected officials, all the high-powered folks are lining up behind Vice President Kamala Harris, she seems to have been, she's just walking away with this thing. She'll go into the convention, she'll get the nod, and she will be the Democratic nominee for President of the United States.
And as the Democratic nominee, then the attention turns to the vice president choices. Who's at the top of that list? Could Governor Whitmer here in Michigan potentially make that list?
Well, she's already indicated that she wants to stay in Michigan. She is going to stay in Michigan. She was a name that people were talking about all the time. But we have Shapiro out of Pennsylvania, which is a strong state that the Democrats need. North Carolina, Copper, he's another one that's strongly out there. There's Mark Kelly. So there are a list of individuals who are going to be vying for this spot. But mark my words, it's going to be a state, it's going to be a person from a state that the Democrats definitely need, and it's going to be a very powerful choice.
We change gears and think about the Trump campaign moving forward and how he would match up head-to-head with Vice President Harris. What do you imagine that looking like?
Well, I can tell you right now, the Trump delegation is shaking in their boots. They did not want Kamala Harris. Trump does not want to debate Kamala Harris. A prosecutor debating a convicted felon, can you imagine how that's going to look? Trump he's going to hit her hard on immigration, but that's a single issue I think that she might be weak on, but everything else, I think Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, is going to take Trump to the woodshed and make a clean cut for her victory come November.
Certainly other key issues, women's rights, economy, inflation, that's all
Abortion is women's rights, of course, a huge issue. The inflation is an issue as well. But also, what has happened in the last 24 hours with Kamala Harris and the money that she's been able to raise, the supporters, the African-American women who are mounting up this coalition to support her in large numbers, it's going to be a very interesting time. I think that 2% that Trump was talking about as it relates to of blacks going to his favor, I think he just lost those. And I think that you're going to see a whole new transitional campaign happening right away.
We appreciate your time, Mario
Thanks,
Morrow,
Simon.
political consultant and expert, talking with us. And we invite you to join the conversation on WXYZ.com. There you'll find more on what Metro Detroiters are saying about President Biden's decision to bow out of the race, as well as Glenda's one-on-one interview today with Governor Gretchen Whitmer about her decision to support VP Kamala Harris. Glenda?
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Mario.